Hey everyone, welcome back to the Knowledge Radio, where we explore the fascinating ways our world works. Today, we're diving into something that affects almost all of us every day: social media. Let's be real for a second. How many times have you found yourself scrolling through your phone, promising you'd only spend 5 minutes, and then suddenly, it's been an hour? Yeah, we've all been there. But have you ever wondered why social media has that kind of power over us? In today's video, we're going to look at the psychology of social media, how it shapes the way we think, act, and even feel. Whether we realize it or not, platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook are constantly influencing our thoughts and behaviors. But why is that? And how can we regain control? Stick with me as we unpack the hidden ways social media affects our minds. All right, let's start with one of the biggest questions. Why is social media so addictive? Here's the thing. Social media taps into the reward system in our brain. Every time we get a like, comment, or share, our brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. It's the same chemical released when we eat our favorite food or accomplish something exciting. Social media platforms are designed to keep us hooked. Think of it like a slot machine. Every time you refresh your feed, you don't know what you're going to get. Maybe a funny meme, a new message, or a post that gives you a rush of validation. That unpredictability is what keeps you coming back for more. This is what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. It's when rewards are given at random intervals, making us check our phones repeatedly, hoping for that next hit of dopamine. Now let's talk about something a bit deeper: the illusion of connection. Social media gives us a sense that we're connected to hundreds or even thousands of people. But how many of those interactions are truly meaningful? Liking a post or leaving a quick comment isn't the same as having a real conversation. Yet, our brains often treat it that way. In fact, research shows that while social media can make us feel more connected on the surface, it can also lead to feelings of loneliness and isolation. Why? Because it often replaces real face-to-face interactions with shallow virtual ones. But here's the catch. We still crave that sense of belonging, so we keep returning to social media, thinking it will fill that void, even though it rarely does. It's like being thirsty and drinking salt water. It doesn't actually satisfy you, but it keeps you coming back. Next, let's dig into how social media affects our self-esteem. Have you ever scrolled through your feed and thought, wow, everyone's life looks so much better than mine? That's because social media often acts as a highlight reel. People post their best moments, their successes, their vacations, and their achievements. But rarely do we see the behind-the-scenes struggles or the ordinary moments. This leads to social comparison. Without even realizing it, we start comparing our real lives to someone else's curated online presence. And guess what? It often makes us feel inadequate or like we're not measuring up. Psychologists have found that the more time we spend on social media, the more likely we are to experience low self-esteem and even symptoms of depression. Why? Because we're constantly being exposed to a distorted reality, and our brains can't help but compare. But here's the thing. What we see on social media is not real life. It's just the highlights. And understanding that can help us break the cycle of comparison. Now, let's touch on something called the echo chamber effect. Social media is designed to show us more of what we already like or agree with. The algorithms behind platforms like Facebook and Twitter push content that aligns with our views, creating an echo chamber where we're only exposed to opinions and ideas that reinforce our existing beliefs. This might feel good in the short term. Who doesn't like seeing posts that align with their opinions? But in the long run, it can make our worldview narrower and less tolerant of opposing ideas. When we're constantly surrounded by content that confirms our biases, it can make it harder to think critically or engage with people who see the world differently. It can also lead to more polarization, where groups of people become more extreme in their views because they're only hearing one side of the story. One more psychological trick that social media plays on us is FOMO, the fear of missing out. Have you ever seen a post about a party, event, or vacation and felt a little pang of envy? That's FOMO at work. Social media constantly reminds us of all the fun, exciting things other people are doing, and it can make us feel like we're being left out. FOMO drives us to stay glued to our phones because we don't want to miss the next big thing. But here's the reality. Most of what we see online is carefully curated to show only the best moments. You're not actually missing out as much as you think. Now let's talk about how social media shapes our behavior. Ever notice how trends spread like wildfire on platforms like TikTok? One minute, you've never heard of a challenge, and the next, it seems like everyone's doing it. That's the power of social influence. When we see something popular online, we feel pressure to join in, whether it's a viral dance, a hashtag movement, or a trending opinion. Social media creates a kind of peer pressure that's hard to resist because we don't want to feel left out. Platforms also use features like notifications and likes to manipulate our behavior. These small, instant rewards make us want to keep coming back and engaging with the platform, even when we don't consciously realize it. So, how do we take back control from social media? First, we need to become more aware of how these platforms are designed to influence us. Recognizing that social media is manipulating our brain's reward system, feeding us only the content we already agree with, and fueling FOMO can help us approach it more mindfully. Second, we can set boundaries, limiting the amount of time we spend on social media. Being intentional about what we engage with and seeking real-world connections can help break the cycle. Remember, social media is a tool. It's not inherently good or bad, but how we use it and how much power we give it makes all the difference. Thank you for tuning in to the Knowledge Radio. I hope this deep dive into the psychology of social media has opened your eyes to some of the hidden ways it shapes our thoughts and behaviors. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with others who might be interested in taking a closer look at how social media affects their lives. Remember, you have the power to control how much influence social media has over you. Stay mindful, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.